I wasn't drunk. I was just late. But what I heard made me furious.
You don't consider war in Gaza genocide by the Israeli government?
No, ass off.
Students here are not the brightest. Crazy stories about why you left. You came drunk during the midterm.
But the thing that kills me most is when people cheat.
Andrew Bates, professor, ex-professor, should I call you?
I don't know. I've heard on one thing, it's once a professor, always a professor.
All right.
I'm not one for titles. I'm more of an egalitarian, although, when I see someone has achieved something, I think you should continue to observe that. But graduates, I say, don't call me that, just call me Andrew. I'm not really one for,
But you're not teaching right now, right?
No,
Currently?
No, I'm not.
How long have you been teaching economics in AUBG?
I taught three papers over 2 semesters.
2 semesters?
Yeah, twice on Macro 101, or 1001,
All right.
and 1002. And
what were the courses once again?
Principles of Microeconomics
Yeah.
in my final semester, and Principles of Macroeconomics in my second and third semesters.
I see. What do you find more thrilling, micro or micro?
Hard to say. There's so much of a story to tell with macro, but also with micro, I really enjoyed it. My micro class was just incredibly bright, and I come back and I see my students now, and I hear about all their successes just over summer after doing 1 year at university, and I'm blown away at what they've achieved. I'm just literally shocked.
I see. What lured you into AUBG in the first place?
I really wanted to take a term at teaching, and I'd been, when I was a master's student, I went to a university in America, and I met a great economist, and he said to me, Mr. Bates, whatever you do, try to teach the smartest students that you can. And I heard from people that were around from Bulgaria, AUBG's just got super smart students. And I came here, and I was blown away by 2 of my students in my first, I taught a 4th year paper in my first class, IPM, Investments and Portfolio Management, and 2 students were just amazing. There were other good students, but there were just 2 that I couldn't throw anything at them that they couldn't handle. They got 98.9 and 97.6 in a midterm where 8 out of 13 students failed.
I see. As a student, I always hear that students here are not the brightest, that they sometimes swag. Is that the case, or from your perspective?
The thing that kills me the most, I'm not here for the pay, I'm here to see you guys learn. And I really enjoy I really enjoy seeing people learn. But the thing that kills me most is when people cheat, when they use AI to write their things and they tell me they haven't. I warn them not to. I even tell them how it was so obvious that the previous semester students did it, and then they turn in AI results. And it's my mother's an English teacher, my father's a barrister, and I like to read. So when I read stuff and it's just regurgitated gobbledygook, it just sticks out like a Santa parade.
What made you leave?
A heap of personal reasons. I had some stuff hanging over me in New Zealand that I really need to go home and resolve. It disturbed my sleep as I went to bed at night here, and it disturbed my sleep. It was the first thing I thought of. It was a worry. I had a yacht. It's a family heirloom, and I'm doing it up, and it's costing scores of thousands of dollars, New Zealand dollars, which used to be worth more than the leather, but is now not, which is really annoying. And yeah, I was just churning money over money on storage fees and insurance, and there was no progress. So I said, right, I need to go and take this project by the hand. But there were a bunch of other personal reasons to do with family health that basically meant that I really need to go home and solve things there.
I see. I just want to mention here that you're no longer working here.
No, I'm not. So why am I here?
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Sure. Okay, I actually left my suits here.
Yeah.
I had intended to come, well, what I did is I left my summer stuff here because I knew I was going to come back and go, I was going to get the boat rebuilt by June, supposedly, or May. And so I left some sailing textbooks, or not textbooks, I don't need textbooks, pilot guides, basically how to enter a harbour that you've never known of. It gives you, it's a cheat sheet for how to do that. And my sailing jacket and all sorts sort of stuff with another professor. And then when I turned up here back in June, having meant to come in May, I went and dumped all my suits that I was going to use for working in, such as this one, and grabbed all my sailing kit and headed off to Greece, where I had some sailing jobs lined up. But I need some knee surgery, as you can see. You got your crutch to hand.
Yeah, it's right over there. Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know if this picks it up on the camera angle, but you're actually talking to two. Are we saying cripples or are we saying differently abled persons?
Cripples.
Cripples. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Yeah. So we've got
For
two.
me, for you, you can say whatever you
No,
want.
that's right. I get sick of having acceptable terms lists changed every week or year or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they'll be changed tomorrow, so
Yeah.
pay attention. How did that come about? I've digressed a bit.
I just wanted to say that you're.
Oh yeah, I came back here. I needed to get knee surgery,
Sure.
and it's going to be a lot more substantial than I thought.
Yeah.
So the recovery period, basically what they're going to do is I'm going to cut the bone here, twist the leg out because it's slightly misaligned, stick a bone graft in, and it's going to be like a 12-month recovery.
Wow.
And then I got another surgery to take the plate off. So I'm not going to be bouncing around classrooms like I used to love to do. I'm going to try to find myself a sedentary job back in finance
I see.
or business consulting, but not necessarily finance, but mostly it's finance.
So coming back to my topic, you're not working
Correct.
here, right?
Yeah.
And we're not either sponsored by AUBG nor are we supported. Our podcast here, what we're talking about.
It's from what I've seen, it's a great thing. When I first met you, you sort of had a certain charisma, a certain gravitas. Yeah.
So I wanted to say that you're not working here. We're not sponsored. So feel free to express your opinions without feeling that you will be penalized. That's what I meant.
Well, I'm not working here anymore.
Exactly, right?
So I can't lose my job.
So whatever
But
you say here.
I have some professional relationships I'd like to.
Absolutely. I respect that.
I'd like to maintain.
Yes.
I wouldn't come and do something that I'd consider unprofessional when I was still working here. And at the same time, if you ask me why am I so blown away by my first year students, I'm not going to name them by name, but I can give you stories about just the most amazing things that my first years are doing
Sure.
at a higher level than when I had an engineering degree and worked in engineering.
Sure.
I've just been blown away by it.
So my question is, how is it to be a professor in AUBG? Honestly. Honestly.
Well, you've got to understand, I've got a bachelor's degree in electrical and electronic engineering and then 3 degrees in finance and economics. So I didn't have a PhD, I had a master's. High level, but I've also got some postgraduate, like professional charter qualifications.
Yeah.
So when you don't have a PhD, you're going to get paid less. And when you do only 3 papers rather than what's considered a full academic workload of 4, you're going to be paid less. So I found it that it never really covered my annual expenses.
Yeah.
I say I didn't do it for the pay. What I mean is the pay that I was getting here was less than I earned as a first-year banker in New Zealand in 2003, even before you adjust for inflation.
Wow.
But I loved it, like just seeing people learn and the response and the feedback I got. And what I was telling you about before when I did that tutorial and back and they actually cheered for me, like I've never had that.
That's it.
Most people cheer when I finish, but for a different reason. Yeah, the emotional, I was consuming, my payment was the emotional reward
I see.
of seeing people learn. So yeah, going back to that. But I was isolated. I don't speak the language. I had a health scare where I went to Dr. Deskolov and he referred me, thankfully, to a very good hospital. But when I got there, I did feel isolated. I didn't feel in control. The doctors spoke English perfectly, of course, but not that much of the signs were in English when I was trying to say, where do I go and how do I pay and all that sort of stuff. There wasn't that much English support. So, and you can't expect that, you know. You go to another part of the world, don't expect everyone to speak English. But yeah, I felt isolated, and it was a bit of a scare. And I actually went back to the UK, where I've got my private health insurance to get that checked out. Turned out to be nothing in the end. But yeah, so there were many ways in which I felt isolated. The other thing that was suggested to me is that, you know, as a single professor, I'd be much better off either in Sofia or in Thessaloniki. And just there's more of a social life for people in their 40s.
I see.
You know, no girlfriend, so no wife, so you know, quite isolated. You know, if you've got someone to go home to, life here might be really sweet. But you know, you do feel isolated. I got myself I was giving a heap of tutorials. I was the advisor, the faculty advisor for the the Investment Management Club. I was assisting Ben Wyman coaching the Griffins.
Yeah.
I used to say, on this field, Ben's the professor, I'm the teaching assistant. But I want you to shut up and listen to Ben, because we used to have people talking when Ben was talking, and I know from like 30 years as a footballer, albeit a different code of football, rugby, You don't do that. When your coach is talking, shut the hell
Yeah.
up and listen to the coach. He's giving up his time. He's not getting paid, so far as I know. No, definitely wasn't getting paid. He was giving up his time, and people are talking at the same time as him.
Ben used to sit in the same chair you're sitting right now.
Oh,
He was on the podcast.
I thought I saw that actually. Yeah, I did see that. I didn't read. Oh, sorry.
It's what do you say about the faculty here in AUBG, the level of faculty?
Incredibly talented. Like, just looking within the finance faculty, and I'm afraid I only met Professor Gurov, who's former, or I don't know, deputy Reserve Bank governor.
Yes.
So he must be a seriously smart cookie. But I only met him once. I taught his son, who was also very smart. But obviously I've sung Julian's praises. The other finance professor is, like me, a total nerd, really passionate about ideas, really passionate about. We both have an economics and finance background. Him more economics and mine more finance. But I love meeting with Prof. Termos, and we've been looking at one of his journal articles, which has just made some progress, which is great news. And since the first day that Prof. Termos and I met, we're walking down the path next to Skaptos, and we're discussing Schiller's theorem about looking at financial distress and treating equity as an option, like a call option. All the various ways you can look at it. So I just sort of thought, cool, I'm really in my element, like, when I'm amongst guys like this. And, and then there's the economics professors, and then I went to a presentation once by a Georgian guy called Nico, who was one of Professor Murphy's students. Oh my God, that was an amazing presentation. It was, at first I sort of bristled at the name. It was Ubermensch and Blue Jeans. And by Ubermensch, he meant Superman. There was no sort of Nietzschean or otherwise disagreeable association. But what he was doing is he does a presentation on Georgians thumbing their nose at the communist authorities who were trying to exclude all this Western influence. And, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, what can you do with a film?
Exactly.
And it was just brilliant. It was such a great salute to these old dudes who thumbed their nose at authority and were part of, that final impetus that toppled communism.
Yeah.
It might have started in a mistake in Berlin where they opened the wall and then suddenly it all fell down. It had previous fires like 1956 in Hungary or 68 in Czechoslovakia.
Yeah.
The Solidarność movement in Poland. But, in their own way, these Georgian guys are cool. And, there's so many great faculty.
What's your opinion on the administration here? And once again, please be completely honest with me.
People work their ass off. People have to, I look at the guys who are giving me IT support, and they were wearing two hats. They were both faculty and they were doing IT support.
Yeah.
There's two professors who are doing that. I know one of them's given that up now. She's full-time professor, full-time faculty now. But yeah, people have got a lot to handle. I did sort of find sometimes, if you study economics, you want to know that incentives matter. And a university isn't like a for-profit organisation. Of course, we need to control costs and make sure the money is going into the right thing and not diverted to the wrong people or the wrong areas. But in some ways, there is this still I guess there's not so much incentive on the employees to move certain processes along. Like there is a whole world of new financial arrangements that are available to us.
Yeah.
And I saw, just as I was leaving, just as I was going back to New Zealand, I saw an advert for a position, for someone to spruce up AUBG's financial payments operations and look at how rejigging the system. So it's happening. But whereas you had in the corporate world and the private enterprise world, if you don't move, you're going to get swallowed up.
I see.
Universities don't quite face that same level of competition, though. Of course, when people are giving money, like when our former alumni, and when they're looking at when they want to give the money, they want to know that the money's well looked after. There's not wasting money on bank fees that need not happen. And also, if you're competing for suppliers, to get their services, you got to make sure they get paid on time. So there's always there is some sort of competition, but it's not as I hate the word cutthroat. It's not as private enterprise environment.
Have you ever felt pressure coming from administration towards you?
I mean, well, so are we now talking about, so there's staff and there's faculty?
Yeah.
Certainly not from like the staff people. They were always
You can
supportive.
include staff, but I'm, to be honest, more interested in administration. People running this university.
You know, when I went astray, there was obviously feedback and discussion of that, but, you know, it was appropriate. I wouldn't criticize anything that was said to me.
Sure, I understand. Do you think that there is a discrepancy between AUBG's marketing campaign and what AUBG represents in the...
I'm not an AUBG marketing campaign target.
Sure.
So
But
you'd have to be looking at teenage, you know, high school students for that. That would, I would think, would be
Sure.
that. Of course, there is also marketing out there for faculty, but I'd imagine those would be typically in peer or associated with sort of peer-reviewed journals and the circles in which they operate, and perhaps other universities overseas that we're aligned with, or that we operate through a pool with. So I haven't been exposed to it, but if you were to ask me what I found with the students that I've been teaching, and how does that align with what I was told by the people that talked to me about the chance to go and teach at AUBG. Some of the students have been incredible. Some of them needed to work harder,
Yeah.
to put it as nicely as I can.
The topic of corruption is omnipresent
Yeah,
in
it's
AUBG.
something in AUBG.
In AUBG, exactly. Without saying any names, it's up to you. Have you ever heard something?
I hear things, but I don't repeat rumours. Like, you know, what does it say? Buying the rumour, selling the fact. Yeah, I'm not going to short sell someone based on what I've heard, but, you know, I was in New Zealand when I heard what I heard about stuff. So I'm on the other side of the world. I could not be in a country further away from Bulgaria. And I would say that puts me pretty squarely in the worst possible person within the association with AUBG to have a view on this.
I see.
But what I heard made me furious because I know how hard people work here. And if those rumours were true, that's disgusting. But I don't want to get drawn into it any further than that. I think I've said what I have to say.
Absolutely.
And I think every faculty, everyone who cares about the future of this university would, if the rumours were true, be utterly furious.
I see. Your name around the campus, you're a local legend, I would say. Especially last semester.
One student said I had some pretty good badass marks, badass points. Let's leave it here. Yeah, I've also heard that said. Some people say people that you've taught love you. People that just go on your reputation,
Yeah,
the opposite.
exactly. That's what I want to talk about. The reputation you built among the students you've taught is like largely different against the people who haven't gone to your lectures even once.
Yeah,
People around the campus hear some stories.
yeah.
They're
Well, I brought that on myself.
Yeah, partially. People around the campus have crazy stories about why you left, but you now just said they had many different reasons for that.
Before I went astray in that last week before the midterm exam,
Yes.
I had 2 blowouts, which is late October. I'd already, in the 4th of October, been asked by the dean, the head of the business department, if I'd come back and teach the following semester. I said, look, I've really got all these massive personal issues that say that I can't be here next year. I was happy to teach online, and this is absolutely the right position. I find it hard enough to slow myself down and communicate clearly in class.
I see.
Do you imagine how much worse it would be with me online? I mean, we'll probably be the only ones who follow this interview. So no, what was told to me was that we are completely putting the kibosh on online courses as much as we can, and particularly first years. Which is why, I mean, you know about the tutorials I gave.
Yes.
The 2.5-hour one the night before the Halloween party, and then the 3-hour one on the final day of class from 6:30 to 9:30. And those went very well.
Yeah.
But that was partly in response to online teaching, and so I completely understand why I wasn't offered a position teaching online, but I couldn't be here. Like, so early in October, long before anything had gone
I see.
awry, I'd already said, look, I can't be here anymore. I loved it though. I mean, it was, my God, I love teaching and seeing it, and just seeing such bright students when I come back here and I hear what they've done over their summer internships. Like one first year, he's gone and done an MBO. He's working in investment banking and he's been a part of an MBO.
Yeah.
And I was like 6 years post the start of my university education before I got into mergers and acquisitions. And he's already done something like that. I've done take privates, delistings, IPOs. I hadn't done an MBO. I had done some structured finance stuff. So when I look at that particular student's achievements, I mean, he's phenomenal. He asked me for my fourth year papers, my slide decks for my fourth year papers, and I was running late on the syllabus on that class. And I said, look, here they are, read them before you come and don't ask questions, but shoot me all the questions you like by email afterwards. And he continued to email me through the winter holidays after I've left the university, and just incredible questions. And then he went and built an AI bot to try to arbitrage mispriced securities. As it turned out, the market's pretty efficiently priced, which I could have told him. And the economic profits from those mispricings were not enough to accept the economic costs and the transaction costs. But now, you know, that guy's got so much drive. And he's actually...
Is he still here?
Yeah, he's second year now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, wow, right?
Wow.
And then there's another young lady, she used to come and do calculus problems in my office. Yeah, awesome, right? Who goes volunteering for extra calculus problems and comes to tutorials for that. And she's just explained to me what she's been doing for a minerals company using machine learning and advanced mathematics stuff. And I said, oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. Probably the hardest stuff I did was stochastic calculus. She goes, oh, yeah, I've been doing that too. And I was like, huh? So when I look at the future that these people are going to create, I'm nothing but, you know, all the problems you mentioned, corruption, it's not going to hold. You know, so long as these people are free enough to flourish, you've got to have an environment where people are free. Then they can use their mind. It's man's means of survival.
And is the environment here the right one? With enough freedom?
Oh my God.
Not even academically.
How many classes, just look at the clubs. How many clubs are entrepreneurial? Like you've got Aspire, Hub, IMC's in that financial investment. You've got a whole heap of clubs here. Startup, yeah, sorry. Yeah, look, the future of the graduates of this university, I think, is great. But we can promote that by making sure, I say we, I'm not in the team anymore, but I'm still a believer.
I want to come back for a little to the reputation I've just been talking about.
Jeez,
and the question is following. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Please don't take any of my words personally. They are not from me. But
that's all right.
I do believe that your name should be justified. Because if you don't address such issues that I'm going to bring up in a minute, people will associate them with you, and rightfully so.
Right.
And the issues are the following. So one of the theories is that you left because of the sexual harassment scandal.
No, I'd said that I was leaving long before the blowout in the last, like when I got drunk on 2 nights.
What's the story here? What happened?
Well, I don't know about what you mean about sexual harassment scandal. I mean, you just said that.
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
I have no idea. I've been hearing some stories about the Halloween party, and
yeah. Look, I've heard some things said too.
Sure.
I turned up. I'd worked till I'd given that tutorial the night before.
Yeah.
I turned up to make sure my first year's had a midterm the next day, and I wanted to see who's turning up and misbehaving, and is going to be applying for a sickness the next day. I had a couple of beers. Some of my fourth years they were third year students taking a fourth year paper the previous semester. They bailed me up about they all got like 1 notch down, like an A minus instead of an A, or a B plus instead of an A minus, down on what they thought. And I was like, yeah, you guys turned up to late, talking as you came into class every time. Guess what? You didn't get full marks for participant engagement. I smashed you in that. You still got good grades in your other things. So for most of the night, I was talking to those guys. I talked to you briefly, and you're saying, I've come as a dodgy Russian.
Yeah.
Has that reputation changed? Yeah. So, but also the dean had told me, basically, I had the punch at the end of the night, and I thought it was meant to be watered down because the dean had told me that she told the students to water down the punch for people that you see are drinking too much. So I was thinking I was having like something weak, and I don't remember the walk home.
Oh no!
I can't defend myself against whatever is said on the walk home, but I don't remember it.
Sure.
But obviously, I couldn't hold. I don't hold myself to my normal standards when I lose a memory of what I'm doing.
And the second issue I want to bring up is regarding exactly drinking. I've just heard a crazy story that you came drunk during the midterm.
No, I wasn't drunk during the midterm.
No?
No, I basically slept in. I tried to adjust my. I'd come from MB. My office was MB.
Yes.
I came across here. I tried to change my alarm. I stuffed it up. Instead of being 8 o'clock, I'd given myself an extra half an hour bed. I set it for 9 o'clock because I did the hours first and then the minutes and anyway. But also, I did. That was the night after that Halloween party.
Yes.
I wasn't drunk. I was just late.
If it's not a secret, how old are you, sir?
48.
48?
Yeah.
Amazing. You're looking good. And your
baby
spirit
face.
is higher than 48.
Really?
Yeah.
I've noticed a lot of salts creeping in around around the peppers.
Are you planning to come back to teaching maybe sometime in the future?
I love teaching. I got invited to go and teach in the new economics university in Kiev.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Now though?
Yeah, not really. Look, I fully give my support to Ukraine, but I don't want to be in Kiev teaching. I mean, I've just got so much other stuff. Elderly family who need a lot of support. Projects still unfinished in New Zealand. I basically, the knee problem cropped up right while I was working, handling my projects back in New Zealand.
Yeah. Would you ever, just theoretically, come back to AUBG to teach?
I love to teach.
In AUBG?
Oh yeah, I love teaching. I can't begin to explain just the joy out of seeing people learn.
Here?
Why not? But then you start to bring in all those factors I talked about before.
Yeah, sure.
Right, that I love the teaching, but you're isolated. Pay doesn't cover what you're doing. There are some administrative problems which meant that I basically lived in a hostel for 3 semesters. I couldn't get a flat. I don't want to go into the thing.
I see, all right, sure.
I love the teaching. I put up with all these things, right?
I see.
Including living in a hostel with USU students below me, partying every night and just going, how am I going to get any sleep and be able to teach?
I see.
I was awake till 5 o'clock with people partying in the room below me, and I had to give 3 lectures the next day, the first one at 9. So, yeah, look, I'd want to make sure I had a contract, and I think the university would give me a contract that would know that I had pulled my act together.
If you were to change one thing in AUBG, what would you change? From your perspective.
Yeah, I'd make it the AUCKLAND.
Why?
The American University in Auckland. It means I could teach at home. No, I mean, the location, look, it's a great location. I think Blagovgrad's actually a really pretty city.
But location is what you would
Oh, no, it was just the first thing that sprung to mind.
It's a thorough
This
question.
is a country that used to be oppressed by communism, right?
Yes.
And so the level of wealth and income has been held back because communism destroys wealth, whereas capitalism allows the individual to use his means of survival, the mind, to create new processes, new products, and so on, and raise his standard of living, the standard of living of all the people he trades with, and those who trade with them. So one of the great things about teaching here is that, whereas in the West, you get a lot of people who don't really understand how evil communism or socialism in any form was. Here, there's no BS, right? People, you can't blag stories about how great communism would be if we just tried another time.
That's the discussion right now.
There is a much greater appreciation of freedom. Capitalism is freedom, as far as I'm concerned. Not what we have now, which is a mixed economy. But capitalism, qua laissez-faire capitalism, as many people know it, is what I consider freedom.
Is that your go-to choice for the economy?
Ideally, would we have laissez-faire capitalism? Yes. Morally, we should.
Wow.
Would you consider yourself massive cultural sea change?
Would you consider yourself a libertarian then?
Do you know what? In the last 2 years, I've stopped calling myself a libertarian, but I haven't changed.
Oh wow!
Why?
Why?
I think libertarianism has changed. When I look at it's such a broad, open. Okay, one, fringe movements attract fringe people, right? And I've seen a lot of people another reason why some people hate me is because I'm very staunchly pro-Israel. I make no apology for that. And I've seen a lot of people in the libertarian movement that America firsters, by which they really mean America alone or isolated. They're isolationists, right? Americans have interests beyond their borders. They want to be able to trade with people. And if it came to like some sort of communist dictatorship just against America, that's not a good situation for America to find itself in.
Is that the reason why America sends Israel billions of dollars every year?
They'd be wise to for that. Do they? Do they? Because there is certainly military aid, and when they have wars, I'm sure they send back up things. I don't know how much it is subsidy. I mean, I haven't looked into that. But you're best to fight wars far away from your homeland. If ultimately their enemy is coming for you, then fight them at home or fight them.
You're talking about
being invaded.
Iran?
Well, I was thinking about anti-Western forces in general,
I
whether
see.
they are
Sure.
China, North Korea, Russia, or Iran.
I see.
The regimes that run those countries.
Yeah.
But yeah, Iran's. I mean, they chant death to America in their parliament. Maybe just listen to them. Maybe listen to them, and you'll know what they want, which is death to the West, and to America, which is the great Satan, the crucible of the West.
Just to make sure, you don't consider war in Gaza genocide by the Israeli government?
No, self-defense, and the combatant to civilian death ratio is far too high for it to be anywhere near like a genocide when you compare it to other wars.
I see.
But what do you expect Israel to do? Sit on their hands and just wait for the next attack, which Hamas have said they'll do. The real oppressor of the Palestinian people, of Gazans, and is Hamas. Have you not seen when Israel pulled back to the yellow line, Hamas got all the people, they call them collaborators, dissidents basically, who opposed their rule, and shot them in the head or beat them up in the streets, and shot them in the streets. No, if you want people to be free, if you want Gazans to be free, it's Hamas that you should first oppose. And the only one that's willing, the only organisation that's willing to destroy them is the IDF, because they need to do that to protect their own civilians. Well, or they call Israel an apartheid state. Well, what about the gender situation, the gender apartheid? In Israel, I've got gay friends in Israel. What would their future be out in any of the neighbouring countries? What would my female Israeli friends? Not Jews, not all Jews. Yeah, it's 75. It's what is it? 71%. 75% Jewish, 21% Muslim, and then you've got some Christians and other and atheists.
Are you an atheist?
Yeah.
Why?
He who asserts the positive must provide the proof. If you say that a God exists, I would say, where's the evidence? And you might say, well, look at all this. And I'd say, well, this is evidence of the natural world. If I took this cup and dropped it,
Just
the
don't
coffee
do it
would...
here.
Yeah, of course not. Oh, I'm too greedy for that. I've got a free coffee. So, I'm not spilling that. It would act in accordance with its nature. So all around me, I see things that act in accordance with their nature. If you want to make the case that there is a supernatural force, well, show me the thing that doesn't act in accordance with its nature. We might not understand things, but that's not to say, therefore, God exists. That's not a rational explanation.
I see. What advice would you give to young people, young students in general?
Read as widely as you can. While you're at university, expose yourself to all sorts of views, and then go, well, what actually stacks up?
Why bother?
What?
Why bother?
You're at university, you're paying a fortune, or someone's paying a fortune, or our sponsors are sponsoring you because you've shown that you've got good academic aptitude. Man's mind is his tool of survival, right? The more you develop your mind, the more broader horizon you have available to you. So that's why I get furious when I see people coming here and cheating and being less invested in their own education than I was as their professor. So read as widely as you can. Expose yourself to the widest set of ideas that you can. And then think for yourself, because that's the most important, right? If you're cheating, it's like going to the gym and paying someone else to lift weights while you sit in the corner eating potato chips, right? Only it's instead of building like arm muscles, you're failing to build your brain muscle.
Yeah.
I know it's an organ, not a muscle. The arguments that the kind of people I hear calling themselves libertarians now, they're so far from what I think. For me, it means banning the initiation of force, that all adult interaction should be by mutual consent, because it guarantees that it's the mutual benefit, which therefore means that every individual is free to live for himself and to pursue the best in life based on what he thinks is best for him, not what some bureaucrat thinks for him.
Do you share your political affiliation or not?
Do I share my...
Your political affiliation, your political
I haven't voted in a long
affinity.
time. I haven't voted in a long time. I voted for Brexit because I thought it was a pro-freedom movement. When I first came to the UK, when I first moved to the UK, I thought that the EU was the four freedoms: freedom of capital, freedom of labour, freedom of goods, and freedom of services. And then I suddenly became completely dismayed about it straight away. And I thought that essentially the British legal system, the common law, which says that which has not been made illegal is legal. In other words, if it hasn't been banned, then you're free to do it. And the stuff that got banned was discovered over 700 years of common law discovery. And it was the stuff that actually violated someone's rights and was seen to be so in court. Whereas the European system says that which you've been told you can do, but don't make any assumptions about something that we haven't ruled on yet. So I think those are completely incompatible. And so that was, for me, it was defending the common law in Britain, which is why I voted for Brexit. But I do encourage countries from the former Warsaw Pact, the Soviet bloc, the Eastern Bloc countries, to join the EU, because I think there's a vast improvement. And also the legacy of communism is the corruption you see in governments and still in Ukraine. But, if you want countries to move away from corruption, you need to make the government smaller. Every time you have to ask permission from someone to do something just to pursue your life, that is a vector for corruption. So if you want freedom to be maximum, corruption to be minimum, reduce the size of the state, the role of the state, and the permissions that people need to get to live their lives or develop new businesses.
As a final thought, what advice would you give to AUBG as an institution? What advice would you give?
Don't know if it's for me to do that. Look, I think it's a great institution, and it's very dear to me. Obviously, I've come back. I've met up with former professors, former colleagues. I've met up with, oh my God, it's just blown me away, meeting my former freshers, first years, and seeing what they're doing. I just think this university's got great potential, and what it offers, not just the students here, but what the students will then offer the country, and not just this country, but all the countries. Like I've had some wonderful Georgian students, some wonderful Russian students, some wonderful Albanian and Montenegro students.
So, what advice?
Keep focusing on empowering these students to make the biggest contribution they can, and that means keeping standards up. Keep cheats out as best you can, squelch the cheats, and keep your standards high.
That was Andrew Bates. Thank you very much, sir.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Savelii.